music is, you know, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like classical music. You know what I'm saying? Stravinsky. Yeah,
that's all good.
He's my man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you're currently doing, is it what you've always wanted to do, or did you get pushed in a different direction when you made it to New York City?
I knew I always, like, I'm working on this album, like it's done. I'm just trying to get it out now.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of always my dream, but it's
to make an album. Yeah,
of like original music.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But again, it's that thing of like, how do you do that? I have no idea how that works. So, yeah, it definitely feels like this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm just kind of pinching myself that it's actually happened, you know, because it did feel like something I had no idea how to put together. So
right. And so, how did you go about finding out? You just started doing it, or what did you do?
Well, I had a bunch of original tunes. They were mostly arranged, and you know, lyrics, all that kind of stuff. And I was playing them out. And I guess I kind of knew I needed a producer or somebody who could kind of help sort of bring it all together. And I had the opportunity to meet Alan Hampton through the place that I teach music at, and we started emailing each other. And I was just like, you know, any chance you produce, you know, like, I love your music, I love the way that you approach songs, and songwriting is something that I really, really admire. And he's like, yeah, I'm on board. So, and I think just because of that, you know, we started doing some writing together, and that kind of all fell into place. So I kind of have to put it down to Alan being amazing with that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, he like organised everything, and yeah, and now I've got a record coming out.
Now you got a record. Now you're famous. It's done. You're famous.
Yeah, it's totally famous.
Cool. So wait, the name of the record is?
It's Nero.
Nero.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
It's kind of like a process name kind of thing. Like, it wasn't something I just was like, this is what it's going to mean. I was really into listening to a songwriter called Laura Nero, or Niro, I think it's how you say it. And Billy Childs just did a tribute album for all of her stuff. And like, amazing songs, they're so beautiful. But she kind of went under the radar because she's the same generation as Joni Mitchell, and she died quite young. Okay. So people don't know her quite as well. But I was checking out her music, and I'm a massive Joni Mitchell fan. She's like,
she's amazing,
my hero.
Yeah.
So I was checking out her stuff, and it was kind of at the time where I was just, you know, feeling like, you know, we need to have like powerful, strong women in music who, like, you know, they're writing amazing songs, they're, you know, just owning it for themselves. And it was kind of that sort of thing. And so I was like, it was meant to be like a respectful thing to her. But then I just ended up changing it to Nero, because it's got that whole, you know, connotation of, you know, power and all that kind of stuff.
What makes you feel most accomplished?
I think when I do things that I know previously, like a year ago, would have freaked me out. You know, like there's, you know, like at the start of every year, I try to give myself a list of things that I want to achieve. Mm-hmm. And I remember like looking back to, you know, some of the lists from like even 2-3 years ago, and, you know, they seemed minuscule compared to what's happening now. You know, it's, I think when you try to break through what you're scared of, that's what I feel like I'm accomplishing something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be musical either. It's, you know, a lot of things are, you know, personal things as well. So
yeah,
when you like, face your fears head on, all that nonsense, you know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I was talking to someone who was, you have to jump off the cliff.
Yes.
You know? You have to just go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's that initial thing where you're just like, you're not sure you're going to do it. But once you're in the middle of it, it's just like, it's not that you go on autopilot, but you just kind of, you start to look at yourself, you're like, man, I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Can't believe it. I think they're always like, I'm in New York. Oh, shit. Like,
yeah, exactly. But it's like the decision to actually get on the plane, like buy a ticket, all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. That's deep. Like, what's one misconception that people have about vocalists, like normal people and also musicians?
I think they don't get respected as musicians, like on an equal playing field.
Right.
And I think more so if you're a chick as well. Like, it's a whole other thing. But I know that there's definitely the sense of like, oh, you're going to be the singer in the band, and if you don't know just some basic kind of stuff, like how to read a chart, or like how to, if you come up there and you don't know your keys for stuff, like basic things like that. I think that's the assumption, but there's so many amazing vocalists around who are just, breaking that misconception, that it's completely unwarranted to have that anymore. And I actually think it's probably the younger, like I had a friend that was at a jam session the other night at Zinc, and, she's a complete badass, like she's incredible. And she's Australian, but cool. She lives in Boston, but she came down for this, for a weekend of doing gigs and stuff like that, and she sat in, she totally got vibed out at this session, like she was going to be treated like, the dumb singer kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. But she killed it. Like she totally knew everything that she was doing. Like, and it was the younger guys that were vibing her out, not the older people. So maybe it's like a learning thing,
I think sometimes it's like an insecurity thing. Like these, they're insecure about it, so they like project it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. True. So like you're saying, like as a female, period, or just a female singer, that you're facing some.
Well, I don't know what it's like to just be an instrumentalist in music world, but I still think there's a lot of sexism, especially in jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, have you experienced that personally?
I wouldn't say personally, because I don't feel like I'm in jazz world enough to kind of be able to really, take it to heart kind of thing. But I know I see other people and see that happening to them.
What about in your world, in the singer?
I feel like in pop singer-songwriter world, like if you're... And I think it's different if you're a band leader. If you're doing your own thing, it's slightly different. But I don't think it's the same level as what it is in Jazzland. It's like it's a tradition that's mostly had dudes in it, except for when there's been the chick singer kind of thing, who's just there to kind of look pretty and like get people to come. Like that's the history of it anyway. Now it's changing a little bit, but I still think there's like that inherent kind of broness going on, I think.
Broness.
I shouldn't say it. It sounds wrong. I'm using it the wrong way.
No,
but
hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree with you.
Okay.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your perspective on things, especially from a woman on the outside of things. You know what I mean? But you have a lot of friends that are jazz musicians.
Yeah.
Your roommate, for sure, like Emily, I'm sure she's told you, like...
She's
whatever.
She gets a lot of, but she's also really great at, like, she's one person who I know cuts down all of those kind of barriers because, she can sing her ass off.
Right.
She doesn't put up with any nonsense. And, she can, take anybody on. I really think
she's strong.
She's an amazing woman.
She's great, man.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about yourself you've been here for 6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this past 6 years in New York City that you don't think you would have learned otherwise?
I didn't realize that I could be as strong and independent as I thought I was. You don't see a lot of independent women from the town that I'm from. Everyone's kind of hooked up, and if you're not...
What do you mean?
Like they're all in marriages with kids and all that kind of thing. And that's the idea of success, is that you've got a family, and, if you can have a job at the same time, that's the ideal kind of thing. And I guess at the back of my mind, that was my idea of success, but it wasn't really what I wanted. And so I think the fact that I can be here and be independent and content, like that's the thing that I'm getting the most out of,
That's deep. So you had to really like step outside of your cultural norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't think you would have done that if you didn't make the move from...
Well, it's also coming from, like, again, from a small town, so that's slightly different. I guess if I was spending more time in Sydney, in the cities in Australia, it would feel different. Mm-hmm. But I think in New York, like, independence is something to be appreciated,
Right.
Like, as long as you've still got a connection with other people, and you have that here with the community, with the, musicians here, I think being independent is really important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years from now, where are you?
I hope I'm still in New York, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So get that green card.
All right.
Get citizenship.
All right. Where's that lottery?
Come on.
I got to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the biggest mistake you've made?
Oh, and, my word.
What have you learned from it?
Like, not being indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when you... Like, delaying the important decisions. You know, like, waiting a few years to, like, end a marriage, for example.
Right.
You could tell it was on the cards, but you're like, oh, this is going to be really difficult. And I think once you make those big decisions, you know, things change. But I definitely wish I'd done it sooner, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, like procrastination is like the thing. And actually the Nero, the song, the single from my record, that's kind of all about procrastination, you know. It's
okay.
I feel like it's the thing that for a long time ruled my life, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I think one thing that a lot of artists struggle with is failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what are your thoughts on failure, and how do you overcome it and not let it like cripple you and like in your room, you know,
mm-hmm.
depressed and crying? I'm just telling you what I do.
Oh, really? Yeah, terrible. No, I think it's good to have... Well, I mean, you learn the most, right, when things go wrong.
Right.
But that applies to everything. It's not just music. Yeah. So I don't think music should be any different. You know, you've got to get back up on the horse. But I think it's more about just being scared to really face something that you're scared of. And so when you fail at something, it's, you know, that's going to determine how you live your life. So whether if it's music, you know, like if something doesn't go the way you thought it would be, you have to find a way of dealing with that. And I think it's good to have setbacks. So I'm glad I've definitely, not that I've had setbacks, but I'm definitely late to the game, I think. And I think it's been a good thing because I've had to learn a lot of stuff.
Right, for sure. I don't actually cry when I fail. I embrace failure.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's like exactly. It's a learning situation, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. Well, I know that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, not a problem. And like, let's try this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you're going to get to something that works, you know?
Yeah. Well, you get to know yourself better. And the more you know yourself, the more you're going to just be comfortable, you know? Mm-hmm. Just doing you is the best thing.
Yeah. That's like a whole process. The closer you get to...
Yep. Exactly.
Do you feel like you're more focused now or less focused since moving to New York? Or does that change, or is it consistent for you?
Definitely feel more focused. And actually I think that's the thing about New York. It does make you can't put up with nonsense in New York. Like, you have to know who you are, what you want to do, because otherwise why are you putting up with, you know, all of the struggle that happens in New York? Mm-hmm. So I think because you have to kind of get rid of all the things that most people have to kind of block what they're really trying to do, it means you can actually have a path and you're focused. So I think that's what I really like about New York. I definitely feel focused. I know what I want. I know who I am. And perhaps that is to do with age, but I really think it's from being in this city and yeah.
Yeah, the city has a way of streamlining you.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, all right, cool, I can't. Like, I only have 24 hours, dude. Like, I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you most thankful for?
I've got tons of stuff I'm thankful for. I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. Like, really. Like my family, because they're so supportive and amazing. I think my friends. I just had my birthday this last week.
Oh, happy birthday.
And it was one of those days. Thank you. But I remember just like at the end of the night just being like, I'm so lucky. Like, I'm blessed with so many people who are supportive and caring about me. I'm miles away from home and I've got all of these people surrounding me who, you know, they care about me, I care about them. I just feel like I'm very blessed naturally, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I want to thank Kathleen Potton
for
coming on the Working Artist Project.
Okay.
I had fun. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.